The formation of Feng Shui can be traced back to ancient times. Humans in primitive society had no rational understanding of various natural laws. But in order to survive, they must live in places where the climate and water and soil are more suitable for survival and development. It's an adaptive choice. By the Yin and Zhou dynasties, the activities of Emperor Shang with written records have begun. For example, there are a large number of ancient words about architecture in the prominent oracle bone inscriptions of Yin ruins, such as doing righteousness, committing crimes, doing ancestral temples, doing official business, practicing, and so on. The villager's requirement for residence is that the terrain should take a certain slope before it can be grounded. The terrain should be chosen beside the riverbed. The soil should be dry, the foundation should be solid, the water source should be sufficient, the water quality should be pure, and the transportation should be convenient. There should be trees all around, and the environment should be elegant. These conditions can only be achieved through fragrant ground. Later, generations of Feng Shui masters are the Buddha's sect. Mozi crossed the east and said that the ancient people called it public. As a matter of fact, the mausoleum household lives, and the canal lives in the soil. The so-called mausoleum port is the steppe area of the river. Many archaeological sites are found on earth slopes close to the water's edge. Ancestors lived in such areas, and it was easy to get water and fish, nor will it be submerged by floods. This is the principle of living near the water advocated by later generations of Feng Shui masters. Pre-Qin, rural housing activities, on the one hand, were the residence of rural living people, and on the other hand, the cemetery of rural dead people. Changshu recruited Zhao Shu to be the king of Teng, and Luoyi, the imperial residence, was the first residence of Zhao Gong. This is Xiangyang House. The bereavement of filial piety records that in ancient times his house was called and peaceful. This is the countryside house. It's all about merging places by divination. Han Gengong, Liu Zhogong, and others, the virtuous soldiers of the pre-Qin dynasty, all made contributions in the practice of Emperor Shang. During the Zhou dynasty, when King Wu of Zhou built Luoyi, he asked Zhou public to use a form of divination to explain many problems in Feng Shui. Feng Shui masters highly praise Qin Huaiwang's half-brother. Evil Ion legend has it that he once predicted that there would be a palace of the heavenly king on both sides of his cemetery, and all of them came true. The rise of various kinds of scholarship in the Warring States period, coupled with the development of Zhouyi and Yin-Yang and five elements theory, the academic thought established by looking up at astronomy and looking down at geography, people often correspond the geographical orientation and shape to the stars in the sky, and have a preliminary understanding and research on the Earth's magnetic field. Sinan was invented during this period. The appearance of the compass has provided an accurate indicator for the determination of azimuth. From the oracle bone inscriptions and the Book of Songs, in the Shang and Zhou dynasties, there was a clear division of topography and hydrology. The land is divided into mountains, ridge, hills, walls, mausoleums, and gangs. The riverbed areas are divided into Zhao, Chang, Zhu, and Wudan water types include Quanquan, river stream, swamp, Jiang, sea, Tuo, etc. Changshu Yugong is the first regional geography monograph in China. It is bounded by natural mountains, rivers, and coasts, The territory is divided into a large natural area called Kyushu. According to the characteristics of China's terrain, which is high in the west and low in the east, more than 20 mountains among the three major basins of the Yellow River, Huaihei River, and Yangtze River are described. It provides a basis for the dragon vein theory of later generations of Feng Shui masters. The Classic of Shanghai is the first document in China that can be called an encyclopedia of ancient geography. It consists of 3 parts: Mountain Sutra, Sea Sutra, and Great Wilderness Sutra. The Mountain Sutra is also known as the 5 Tibetan Mountain Sutra. In its east, south, west, north, and east, 447 mountains are recorded. It is the earliest monograph on mountain geography in China. In the pre-Qin period, there were many books that became the basis of Feng Shui theory in later generations. The geography, geoscience, and other chapters of Wanzi's book are outstanding geoscience papers. The geography chapter discusses topography, soil, hydrology, and use 5 earth to match 5 tones. Later, it developed into the Feng Shui concept of 5 yin and 5 elements. The geographical description describes the corresponding relationship between the surface layer and the inner layer of the land. Point out that there are folds on the mountain. There is iron under it. Where there is lead on it, there is silver under it. If there is cinnabar above, there is gold below. There is a kind stone above, and there is copper and gold below it. The relationship between the exterior and the interior of land is exactly what later generations of Feng Shui masters want to explore. Zhou Li Yi recorded the ancient Yi law closely related to Feng Shui. Situ Pian said that according to the method of ancient barbarians, there are actually the names of 2 soils, and the interests of rural houses are known: to give the people, to turn over birds and animals, to cultivate vegetation. That is to say, according to the law that all kinds of land are suitable for all kinds of people, birds, animals, and plants, the names of all kinds of things in the 12 land areas should be distinguished so as to choose people's living places, know how to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages, and make people flourish. Make birds and animals multiply, and make vegetation grow. Hu Yi is a pre-Qin period, which is a common term and method. Later generations of Feng Shui masters highly admire the ancient method, promote the concept of correspondence between heaven and earth. The sky and ground areas converge and divide them into 12 areas as the basis for judging good or bad. Thus, the knowledge of Xiangdi in the pre-Qin period provided the premise for the emergence of Feng Shui.